Hello. How are we today? I just woke up from a nap maybe 10 minutes ago and I decided, fuck, I'm alone in the house, let's film a YouTube video. Before I get to the strip, this is the butter video, as you see from the title. This is going to be a hybrid BTS butter kind of slash HYBE complaining video. I just want to update my last video where I said I was excited about Olivia Rodrigo's debut album. Did listen to it, hated it, actually, don't like it. If it was more like Good For You and it had more of that energy, I would have loved it. But there's only really Good For You and what is it, Brutal out here. Those are the only two songs like that. So I'm kind of back to my original opinion I had on her in January, which is that she's a little planted and she's 18. She's 17 at the time, 17, 18, writing about typical 17, 18-year-old stuff. And I'm 25, so I am not the target audience. It's not me. Arguably, people would be like, Christina, you're not the target audience for BTS either, but they are my age. Happy Butter Week, everybody. So obviously this is early, so I'm not going to really be talking about charting that much, but we'll address that at the end. So let's just start from the beginning. Which is probably the last time I spoke about HYBE. So kind of in the middle of April, BTS announced that they were doing a deal with McDonald's. And then later in the week, they announced they were doing a deal with Louis Vuitton. So talk about range. Get you men who can do both McDonald's and Louis Vuitton in the same week. I mean, who else does this? So that happened. That's going on. I have seen way more. Wow, look at this. I've seen way more of the McDonald's side of things than the Louis Vuitton thing. They're, what are they? House ambassadors, which I think is the whole fashion house and not just one brand. And they're global, so it's the entire world, which is pretty good. They'll probably wear Louis Vuitton tonight at the BBMAs. You'll see this video after that, so. Hello, editing Christina here. You will see me probably twice in this video, so sup. So this section that was coming up was about the McDonald's deal and was about how when it initially came out, I was upset about it. And I used it as an example to explain how intense the connection is between BTS and ARMYs, or I should say how intense the parasocial relationship is between BTS ARMYs, because BTS only has ARMYs. It's a common saying in the fandom, and sometimes ARMYs only have BTS, but I used a personal story to describe it, and one that I didn't really want to share, but I felt like I had to get my point across. Because I'm somebody who can't eat McDonald's. I used to eat it a lot, and now I can't eat McDonald's. Fill in the blanks. So I was upset because this wasn't something I could really participate in, but then last night after I filmed this, they announced how the merch was going to work. And so the merch designed for the BTS / McDonald's deal, that's going to be purely on Weaver, so you can buy it without buying McDonald's or supporting McDonald's. So people like me who want to support this business decision, but like don't necessarily want to be buying McDonald's meals, like there's an option. So it made my points moot. It doesn't make my emotions in the moment, kind of like when it was announced, it doesn't make that kind of irrelevant, because like yeah, like of course, like I was upset, but then I was also like excited because it's a really big deal, and that's the next section about how good of a decision this is. But and how I can't be upset about, like, it's literally going to start with, I can't be upset over a business decision. So that's all I wanted to say. There was a section, it was about how I was upset about it, but then they found a way that I could support this without actually going against something that I can't really do, which is eat McDonald's. And so, I mean, I want to be like, I know logically with the corporate meetings about this, they weren't thinking about fans that couldn't eat McDonald's or don't want to support McDonald's in any way, right? They were just like, okay, like, we'll do the meal and then the merch will be sold on the Weverse merch shop. Like, all over their BTS's merch is sold, right? It just seems very clear. But from my perspective, it's very much like, this is a chance for people who want to support this and want to support BTS, but don't necessarily or can't go to McDonald's. And it feels like people like me were included, even though I was not. They were not thinking. I'm telling you right now, no one in any boardroom was like, what about the people who can't do it? Like, no one is ever thinking about the people who can't get into something or can't support something. They're thinking about their target audience. I'm clearly not the target market for McDonald's anymore, so they weren't thinking about me, but it feels like they were, and that's what matters. Hence the parasocial. That's the parasocial part of the relationship. It feels like, from my perspective, that, oh, I have a chance to be a part of something that I couldn't previously before, even though no one anywhere was thinking about people like me during this deal. So, okay. Please continue to enjoy the video. It's a smart business. It's a very smart business decision. It's on both ends, because it's McDonald's first global celebrity meal in however many countries. It's not just the US, it's, a ton of countries. And like, you know what? McDonald's probably spent a shit ton of fucking money on this. And I know they do, because V and Sugar are in the ad together. And those two do not speak to each other unless there are millions of dollars on the table. Join me in Clown City, everybody. But like, they're spending, like, I feel like there was a lot of money spent. And that there could be a really big global summer campaign with butter in it. I don't know. The commercial doesn't come out until Wednesday the 26th, so we'll see, I guess. But I'm assuming, like, if McDonald's is gonna pay the millions of dollars to get BTS as their commercial people, I'm assuming I'm gonna see them on TV pretty often. Every time there's a McDonald's commercial, I'm assuming, like, you're gonna put the BTS McDonald's commercial. They're gonna blast that, they're gonna use it. Why wouldn't you use it if you spent millions on it? And also, another point, which I will abbreviate on a bunch of times in this video, is that everything BTS do is for armies. And they don't do anything, including brand deals, that is not centered around their fandom, in their core fan base. So that's why, and that's why they pick nuggets. Like, nuggets are served in every McDonald's region around the world. They don't have to worry about people who are restricted in eating, because nearly every single person can eat chicken except vegetarians. Anyways, okay, end McDonald's rant. So I hope that sheds some light on the situation. Anyway, so the Sunday after the McDonald's deal was announced, they had a live stream that had this yellow background with this block that melted into a heart, and like an hour of cooking ASMR in the background. And when I tell you, everyone was like, this has something to do with the McDonald's deal. Like, this is about McDonald's. Because of the food and cooking, everyone was like, this is McDonald's. But it wasn't. It was butter. They were announcing we have a new single, Butter, coming out May 21st. So happy comeback time. Still not convinced it doesn't have something to do with McDonald's, because it's so yellow. And again, like, even though the McDonald's ad campaign has not fully launched yet, because the single is yellow and it's called Butter, and again, multinational corporations have spent millions of dollars, I do think there's a big ad campaign coming, so look out for that on your everywhere. Now this is where I'm going to talk shit about HYBE. Ready? I'm ready. My first video was about how they're visionary and really good, and how buying Scooter Braun is definitely like going to revolutionize the industry. This video was about, why is your artist management so fucking bad? Like, what the fuck? So a few days later after this, HYBE announced that TXT would have their album coming out on May 31st, right? I love TXT. Those are my sons. I love them so much. I am very excited for their album. My question is, why did Newest T and Hyphen, BTS, TXT, and 17 all have comebacks, or are having comebacks within the same 6-week period, when there was nothing in quarter one? There were no comebacks. There were maybe a couple Japanese comebacks, a couple of solo singles in quarter one, but suddenly quarter two, all All of your group, literally every single group they still have signed, we'll get to Gfriend in a second, is coming back in the same time period. You think they're all gonna have summer hits? What are you talking about? You manage the biggest group in the world and you're throwing all of them on top of it. What? Why are you flooding the market? It makes no sense to me. How is this good group management, right? Like, how is this a good thing? How are any of these groups happy with it? Like, I get like BTS, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, they can do whatever they want whenever they want. It's gonna be the biggest song in the world regardless because they're fucking BTS. But like, everyone else, like, if I was 17, who's arguably the second biggest K-pop group, arguably, we'll see with Twice. It's either Twice or 17, but like 17 is definitely the second biggest boy group though. Yeah, so we'll leave it at that. But if I was 17 and they were like, yeah, you're coming out like your comeback scheduled like 3 weeks after BTS, I would be fucking pissed. I'd be pissed. I'm not gonna win any music shows. I'm probably gonna have a hard time on Melon. I know you would not want that. There's a reason why no one else ever releases around or on. That's a lie. That's a lie. SM and YG do plan their songs around BTS releases. They do. Perhaps I have yet to see this. I've yet to see this, and I maybe disagree with this. Perhaps there is maybe a little bit of a BTS effect in that when a BTS song comes out, it gets a lot of like flash and like highlight, not just on BTS, but K-pop as a whole. So if you come out around before, if your songs come out either before or after when people are looking into it, you may also catch some fans or some views, some listens that way, but it can't be, that's not sustainable. That can't be sustainable, right? In TXT's case specifically, because those, again, my sons, I wonder if this is kind of like a Boy With Love, Cat and Dog situation. Because here's the thing. Blue Hour, TXT's last album, the Minisode 1 Blue Hour, did very well in the US. Very well in the US. I thought they were for sure, like, charted, like, what was it, like 26 or something on the top 200, and that's kind of like where Wings was, when Wings was the first BTS album to chart on the top 200, and so I thought, I was like, okay, TXT are ready to switch to a Friday release schedule. But they're not. They're releasing it on Monday, and not just any Monday, Memorial Day, which is a terrible day to release here. That's why everyone and their mother released on Friday, right? And so I can see maybe the excuse that, well, they are label mates, BTS and TXT, they are label mates, and so that maybe they are coming out so close to BTS because the team under Big Hit Music, which is under HYBE now, independent, but solely under HYBE, just kind of sheltered in place there. The team could maybe schedule TXT at the same time they were scheduling some of these BTS performances. So, like, if BTS, like, for example, BTS is going on Colbert, maybe at the same time, on the same phone call, email chain or whatever, they said, hey, we also have TXT. Do you want to schedule them too? And maybe they did. I don't know. I probably won't know any of TXT's US promotion schedules for a while, but they should definitely be having them. Editing Christina again. Hello. Real quick, 2 seconds. Today it was revealed that RM is on TXT's title track, not as a feature, but as a writer and or producer. I'm assuming it's gonna be writer. I'm assuming maybe they consulted him on some English lyrics, or maybe there was a Korean verse that wasn't really working out, and they also went to him because Namjoon's kind of like the dude. He's the dude. He's the guy. He's the, like, main lyricist of BTS, literally. Like, most BTS songs have RM on them. So I'm also kind of speculating that TXT and BTS's comebacks are so close together, particularly so he can have, he, as in RM, can maybe cross-promote his 2 songs. Maybe, and then again, like, scheduling shows at the same time. Okay, there it is. And if they do have them, right, now this is just speculation, if they do have US schedules, I'm hoping it kind of works kind of the same way that Boy With Love and Cat and Dog did. So for those who were not here in spring 2019, when BTS were promoting Boy With Love on music shows in Korea, TXT were also promoting their second single, which was Cat and Dog. And so when BTS would win on music shows, they would keep TXT on the stage with them after, and there were a lot of cute moments. It was adorable. I think it really helped introduce TXT to ARMYs. And if you are an ARMY and you don't listen to TXT, I would say the K-pop group whose sound is closest to BTS is probably TXT, and I include ENHYPEN in that. But ENHYPEN also just kind of sounds like there's like a overarching music philosophy that the entire HYBE has. So I would check them all out if you like BTS's sound. But anyways, I'm hoping that's what happens, because I can literally see no other excuse for a Monday release and so close to BTS. Let's talk about Gfriend. So Gfriend disbanding was not surprising to me, because they had that Nazi scandal where one of the members idolized Nazi and fascist culture and all that. And with the rise of fascism globally everywhere, it's not a good look for anyone, really. And if you're HYBE and you're trying to have a global brand, essentially, and you're trying to be a major force in like every major music market that you can think of, maybe not, you know? So I'm not surprised they ended up disbanding and not re-signing. I know a lot of people were like, oh, Gfriend was shooing for a re-sign, but I didn't necessarily think that was true. And I thought the writing was on the wall when in their like HYBE, like their introduction to the new brand, they had a very short section, and I was like, oh, they're on their way out. The writing was on the wall. However, that means that now HYBE, as a whole, multinational conglomerate, has 0 girl groups. They have Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato, that's fine, but there are no promoting girl groups produced by HYBE, released by HYBE, managed by HYBE going on right now. And I think this is a problem. They're supposed to have 3 coming out this year, 1 under Big Hit Music, 1 from Island, and 1 under Source Music. But there's been no word, and again, nothing happened in Q1. It's Q2. I cannot imagine they're gonna debut a fucking group under these circumstances. Are you kidding me? Can't imagine they were having all these comebacks at the same time, but here we are. And I am going to say that, like, how HYBE treats its girl groups is going to be the test. Like, this is the test. And they're failing at the moment. This is the test. How they treat their girl groups is going to really show to me how they actually treat music as a whole, and music production and music management as a whole, versus anything else, right? Because here's the thing. BTS, TXT, and even ENHYPEN, which is under Belift Labs, they all have a lot of freedom in what they wear, what they sing, how they perform. If dance moves want to be changed, dance moves are changed, right? Like, they have a lot of freedom, and the girls that are coming out should also have just as much freedom as the boys do. Now, I understand, like, you know what, if the girl groups are coming out, like, they're not obviously going to make a self-produced album like BTS did with B right away, but they could have, you know, ENHYPEN TXT level of say in what they do. They definitely can, and they should. And I would argue that if I don't see that, if I see that maybe things are a little bit too, you know, constrained on them, then it's gonna, like, turn me off, right? Like, I'm gonna be like, no, this isn't cool. Because then HYBE isn't about we believe in music. HYBE is about we believe in music for boys. HYBE is about, oh, well, you know, boys can do this, but the girls can't. So I really need to see, I'm watching closely. I need to see how they do this and how they execute this. It's very important to me. If you're from HYBE and you're watching this video, it is very important to me how you treat these girl groups. And so far, because there's been no word on it, there's been nothing about them except maybe one mention in that corporate brand video. You're not doing well. Now, I will say they do get a couple extra points because HYBE is actually really good at putting women in positions of power behind the scenes without asking them to perform. So one of the things that I really dislike about the US industry is that there's not a lot of women producers behind the scenes, not a lot of women songwriters. It's getting better, but a lot of times if a woman is producing, writing, managing, or whatever, they're also the performer, right? So like in cases where like, yeah, Taylor Swift is a songwriter and a hall of her music, but she's also the performer. She's also forced to be out in front of everybody and ate up for the world to see. HYBE doesn't do that. The chief brand officer, who is the creative head of this big hit girl group, she is, at least I think it's going to be under Big Hit Music. That might change. We'll see. She's a woman. Adora, one of the in-house producers who's on BTS and TXT songs and was on Gfriend songs. She's a producer. I hope she's the main producer of the Big Hit Music or Source Music girl group, whatever she really feels like. She's amazing. She deserves to be head producer of a group. TXT's performance director is a woman. The head stylists are all women. BTS works with a lot of women songwriters if you look at their songwriting credits. So it's not like they're terrible on the gender equality. It's just that I need to see how they treat their famous women on top of how they treat their famous men. And it should be the same way. Should be the exact same way. If Bang Ji-hyuk had a commencement speech in 2018 where he spoke about how angry he was at the music industry, and that's why he started Big Hit Music, because he needed, or Big Hit Entertainment, because he needed to disrupt it, he needed to change it. My dude, you have to, like, you cannot be angry at the music industry and not be angry at the way it treats women, right? Like, that goes hand in hand to me, so I'm really hoping that you are trying to do right. I really am. I believe right now you are, but I need to see it in front of me to know for sure. So, and rant, back to butter. Okay, the teasers were good. The teasers were good. The first videos where they're like in black and it's like they're in front of a projector that's like mirroring the image and they're like doing like weird things. That made no sense and did not show up in the music video at all. Those outfits are not in the music videos. Those are not the outfits they're apparently wearing for their Billboard Music Awards performance. I don't know what that is or where that comes in, how that's involved. I'm just gonna assume it was a cool art project and call it a day. They decided, let's do this cool art project because we don't really want anyone to know anything about the single until just before it's coming out. The other two sets of concept photos did show up in the music video, and the actual music video teaser was not misleading this time, so yay for that. Sometimes, if you're a new ARMY, sometimes the music video teasers will lie to you. This is just the things we've accepted about Big Hit and BTS. The song itself is so good. You do not understand. This song is so good. When I listened to it the first time at midnight and that first chorus hit, I was like, oh my god, this is the song of the summer. Like, it has to be the song of the summer. Like, maybe I'm obsessed, but also this has to be the song of the summer. It's so good. It's so good. Like, the core, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but like I heard that chorus hit and like fireworks went off in my head and it was just satisfying. I was like, yes, I was refreshed. I was rejuvenated. I was having fun. Like, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's actually not perfect. The bass line is also very good. I love the bass line. It's not sampled from Queen. There was like a little bit there where we're like, oh, they sampled Queen. They did not sample Queen. I will say, when I said it's not perfect, I have a little issue with the way that first chorus transitions into the second verse. It's just a little awkward. But well, that's, the rest of the song is fine. It's just that one, and it, like, it's fine. It's fine. And they said in all the interviews, press conference, that they wanted a summer hit. It's fun, has a nice bass line, it feels good. I love the lyrics, and they aren't overtly cheesy, because Dynamite was a little cheese. I love the lyric, highlight the moon and rock with me, to the little hand kiss move they do. I love that. That's just gonna degenerate so fast knowing BTS, like, if Kim Taehyung is performing with them, right? That's gonna be fingers in the mouth so fast, but that's okay. That's okay. Or even if you're not an ARMY, I don't know why you would watch this video if you're not an ARMY, but if you're not an ARMY, I would give it a listen. It's a fun song. It's fun, summery, can't get any, just guys being dudes, can't get any better than this, basically. And the music video, I didn't write anything about the music video. The music video was amazing. It's really fun. Give it a watch. It is in all English again, like Dynamite was. I know some circles of the internet kind of feel some way about this. Some of them are antis, some of them are ARMYs, some of them are just like, I didn't realize BTS was doing this type of thing anymore. So let's talk about it. Now, clearly, I'm probably not the best person to talk about language politics. So I'm just going to try to explain what I know as an ARMY and leave it at that. You know, I'm sure there will be other people that have different explanations. It's fine. I don't want to overstep here. But again, as a certified purple blood, I just want to explain what I think that their reasoning is. So first things first. BTS and most K-pop groups do foreign language songs all the time, particularly in Japanese. So it's not uncommon for a K-pop group to do a foreign language song. I think there's even a couple Spanish K-pop songs out there too. And V particularly incorporates English in his songs a lot, and That Sweet Night and Winter Bear are all full English songs. So it's not out of the question, and to me, it wasn't ever out of the question. Second, I know RM had said in the past that if he ever did, I think the quote is that if BTS did an English song, it wouldn't be a BTS song. He did say that. During Dynamite era, he did kind of like cop up to that and say, yeah, I just said that, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing about RM. He's a Virgo, and Virgos do be saying shit. They do be saying shit, and then the universe goes, oh, really? And then decides the opposite for them. What I think this is, and why BTS did a second English single after Dynamite, 2 reasons. One is that in 2020, when the Party Rock Anthem hit, everyone had to adapt. And I mean, everyone on the fucking planet had to adapt, right? And for BTS, they had plans to go on this massive world tour, with like a month and a half focused in the US to connect with US armies, and then another like month in Europe to connect with European armies. Also to like spend time, like again, in the beginning of 2020, I don't know if you guys remember this, but they were in LA for like a month straight and a half, just preparing for Map of the Soul 7 and like getting into it. Like they were trying, and I feel like their 2020 plans were like, they had such an extended tour in the US because they wanted to spend time getting into the industry a little bit more, and suddenly they couldn't do that. The next best thing was to give US and European, Western armies essentially, an English song as a gift. And when Dynamite came out, it was very much viewed like that. And I'll get back, when I get to kind of Butter's early reception, I'll talk a little bit about that more. But Dynamite in its like reception in the aftermath ended up kicking open a lot of doors for BTS at the same time that they previously did not have access to. So now Butter, while also a way to connect to their English-speaking fans, is also an active experiment in how to master the US market. So to reiterate, like Dynamite, I think, was originally just like, okay, this is just for, you know, armies in the US. They'll really enjoy it because we can't see them. And then suddenly they had a #1 and a Grammy nomination. And they were like, oh, maybe we should do more of this. Okay, so the pattern, as I think it's emerging, as I'm seeing it emerge, because we're seeing them experiment in real time, and it's really interesting. So the pattern, as I see it emerge, is somewhere in between how they do Japanese comebacks and how they do regular comebacks. So in the before times, before we started party rocking in the house, in the before times, it would be like they would do Japanese comebacks, and they would get, you know, full Japanese songs, Japanese albums, all that fun stuff, right? And then full Korean comebacks, and the full Korean comebacks would kind of always be in front of a massive US tour, and so the US comeback would be the tour, right? So they would release an album, go on tour, do talk shows, do the late night circuit, blah, 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 but it would be in Korean, and they would tour with their Korean music, and that's what they were doing. And I think they were trying to really get a good foot, like wedge in with touring, which is possible. There are other artists that got really big from touring. Halsey is one of them. Post-party rock anthem, it seems that what we're doing, we're still doing the Japanese comebacks as it is, but we're releasing an English single, not a full album, an English single for radio purposes to promote over here a couple months before a full Korean comeback, and then that English song will end up on that album. And then as they promote that album, they will still promote this song, and that they're really just taking an English song and saying, here, throw this over there in the US, and they're promoting it like that, releasing it first and having one round of promo, and then releasing an album with it on the album and a new single in Korean, and then promoting Butter again. I'm assuming we're gonna get another round of Butter promotion in September. I'm also going to assume we're gonna get a repack of whatever we're getting in December. This is what I think the comeback. I think we have this now. I think at the end of September, when round 1 voting is about to start, we're gonna get a BTS album, a full album, and then I think end of November, beginning of December, kind of, we'll get a repack of that album, kind of following the Grammy thing, so they can be very visible while voting is going on. And also, for BTS, like, one last point, it is not about language, right? Like, one of the things that we need to, like, just accept as a society, that for BTS and ARMYs, it's not about language. I don't speak an ounce of fucking Korean. I don't. I listen to every fucking song. I don't even speak Japanese. I listen to their Japanese songs. It does not matter what the language is, what language they're singing in. It really doesn't. They are at the point in their career, they could release a song in Swedish and probably still go number 1 in the Hot 100 if they so wanted to. It's just for ARMYs. This is the relationship. BTS, when they're preparing something, they prepare it for ARMYs, and they go, hey, ARMYs, here you go. Here's a gift. And it's like fucking Christmas Day. You're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Here are a bunch of charting records. Here's the biggest debut in Spotify history. Here's the most watched music video in 24 hours. Again, that's what it is. That's what this is. That's what's happening. Reception, I swear we're almost done. This is a long video. I'm very afraid that my iPad is going to yell at me. I'm not going to give numbers because they're actively changing, but biggest debut in Spotify history, and biggest most watched YouTube premiere and most watched music video in 24 hours. That was confirmed at 108 million. Probably gonna go number 1 in the Hot 100. I know I've brought Butter. A bunch of people are buying Butter, especially today because everyone's fucking angry on ARMY Twitter. Happy Sunday. It'll probably go the same way that Dynamite did. Butter did debut on US pop radio pretty high. Highest for BTS so far, so radio might be more of a factor this time. I think that is really the goal. If you want a summer song in the US, you have to be on the radio. So that might be one of the goals for them. I've also been kind of closely paying attention to the Korean charts this time around. I'm not an expert, but what was interesting to me around the time that Dynamite came out was that the first week before the Hot 100 came out, it didn't really make a whole lot of noise in Korea. Because again, it was very much perceived as, this is a thing for European ARMYs who cannot see BTS. Like, they don't have, granted, Korean ARMYs couldn't see BTS either, but you know what? If you live in Seoul and you go into a supermarket, you might catch somebody there, right? Like, we don't have that, right? They can't really come see us. They couldn't tour, and we really enjoy the tours, right? So it was very much seen as, this is a thing for the Western market. End of story. But then it went number 1 on Hot 100, and suddenly now it has the most music show wins of any song ever. Like, suddenly it started hitting all these goals because everyone was like, oh my God, really? So this time around, Butter got the first real-time all-kill and perfect all-kill for male groups in 2021. They're consistently doing well on Melon. I think it's still number 1 right now. After the rework, don't ask me, I can't explain the rework to you. It seems that, like, they're a lot more receptive to it this time around, and once again, everything BTS does for ARMYs, you can join the club if you want to be. You can be purple-blooded if you want. Music is the great unifier. Yay! Hi. Last time, I swear last time, I'm just here to talk about the Billboard Music Award performance. Just BTS's performance. You'll see a why a little later in the video. I had filmed that yesterday before the award show had happened, so I watched it. now I'm here. The reason why the Billboard Music Awards performance was so big, because that was the first time they were showing the entire choreography. So here are my comments on that. I think it's really good. I think it's really fun. I did not notice how many hip thrust and crotch grabs there were until my 5th watch. So if you want to know what I'm paying attention to, it's not that, apparently. Their set was really good. I am getting kind of a hint. I'm gonna make a prediction, which is bad when you're talking about BTS, because they never do anything I expect them to, and I love them for it. The way the performance started off, there was a little clip of Jungkook walking in and staring at himself in the mirror in like an all denim outfit, with Dynamite playing in the background, and then Dynamite comes out, and he comes out in the black suit that he wears to perform Butter. To me, that kind of indicated that they were maybe going to set up maybe a storyline through their Butter performances. Think kind of like The Weeknd with his After Hours performances. And I think that would be really interesting and fun. And add an extra dimension to the Butter performances than what they have now. But also, if they don't do that, that's also okay. I'm going to enjoy it either way. Yeah, what else? The other thing I want to note that I didn't note when I was talking about leading up to the comeback, I remember the rumors happening in March, the beginning of April, saying that BTS was going to have a comeback kind of end of May. I just want to note that this comeback is kind of mimicking the Love Yourself Tear timeline, and Love Yourself Tear was the first BTS album to go #1 in the top 200, and also my favorite BTS album. I'm very possessive of that. So to me, it's like, okay, like if you're mimicking this, because it was like the exact same thing, right? Like Love Yourself Tear came out, right? Fake Love is the title track, and the first time they showed their choreography, the first performance of it was at the Billboard Music Awards 2018. So it's very, just the timeline is very reminiscent of that, and I'm wondering, like, is it just like when they looked at their data and their numbers and stuff, they saw that this time period was the one that has the most growth for them? I think also the fact that they want Butter to be a nice, fun summer song, I think that releasing it before Memorial Day, that makes a lot of sense too. And I'm also wondering, like, since the choreography is like for the longest time, they did not hip thrust. For a very long time. I want to say like 2 years, there was not a single. You could not get them to do it. Which is fine, that's their choice. But now we're like back in it, so I'm wondering if we're gonna get like a Blood, Sweat, Tears performance, maybe 2021 muster, perhaps. I'll be watching both days probably, so you know. Can we please? I don't know, probably not. But yeah, the performance was good. It was fun. It's on their YouTube channel if you want to go watch it and check it out. Camera work was really good. Lighting was really good. But I knew that because they built the set and they kind of controlled it. They just said, okay, we'll send something in, and BBMAs were like, all right, see you then. So yeah. And performance-wise, I have no idea what they have planned. Really, the only thing that was announced was the Billboard Music Awards and Colbert. I cannot imagine they don't go on Corden. I can't imagine they don't go on Jimmy Fallon. I can't imagine, like, maybe they even come back to Jimmy Kimmel and Ellen, even. They haven't been on Jimmy Kimmel or Ellen in a long time. I wish they could go on SNL, but it was the season finale of SNL, so I think that maybe we might get that next go around, for the album that comes out. Likely in September, and SNL will be back by then. Because their SNL performance, I rewatch it all the time. That was such a good performance. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Outfits were on point, choreography were on point. It was really fun, but also kind of cute, even though they were, you know. Okay, and that's it. That's it. Thank you for watching. Next week's video is going to be about the Billboard charts and what happened this week, because on Friday, May 21st, so much shit came out. all at once, because nobody wants to, Memorial Day weekend, releasing on that Friday, it's not great. You don't really want to release on holiday weekends or around holidays at all. So I think there are going to be some upsets. I think there are going to be some crazy numbers. Do you want my predictions? My predictions, obviously, Butter Hot 100 #1 on the chart, date it for June 1st. I think that's when it'll all come out. On the chart, date it for June 1st. I think Butter Hot 100 #1. I think the 21 Pilots album is gonna go #1 in the top 200. I don't think Olivia Rodrigo is gonna go #1. Even though there's a lot of hype around that album, again, it was pretty lackluster. So I don't think the majority of people, even people who were just kind of curious from like Driver's License, or like me, who's kind of curious from Good For You, like I don't think it's gonna get as much traction as people think. Because I want to do a video on those charts, and the charts coming out late, the video is going to be late. So that video is probably not going to be out until Wednesday, June 2nd, after the chart comes out, and I can write a script and film a video. So in the meantime, I'm probably going to post a full Billboard Music review, Billboard Music Award review, which you just saw a little bit of it, for BTS's performance. I'm probably going to post a little bit of that, like on Friday or Saturday, kind of equidistant in between the two dates. So look out for that too. Thank you for watching. This was a pleasure, even though I screamed the whole time. I have just one more thing I want to add, particularly about ARMY Twitter. Because I said ARMY Twitter was in a tizzy. They think that, I mean, okay, Olivia Rodrigo is very clearly, has a lot of money behind her. That's fine. That's fine. I get that. That's fine. I also understand that she probably paid more for Spotify placement than BTS and Columbia did. That's also fine. I think BTS being 3 on New Music Friday probably helps them more than hurts them, because your eye is drawn to that bright-ass fucking yellow. And not to the blue Olivia Rodrigo album and the blue Little Nas X single cover. So that's fine. I have a problem with the way a lot of people on Twitter are talking about it, particularly on ARMY Twitter. I think that there's a lot of misogyny going on, and I think that it's okay to be angry at Spotify. They are acting shady. It's okay to be angry at Interscope. They're definitely pushing this girl, and they don't care what's happening, and it's really only going to hurt her in the end, right? Her story is going to follow her for the rest of her life. I don't know if she knows this, but you know what? Justin and Brittany, like, that still haunts them. That relationship still haunts them, even though it's been years and they're married to different people. So I really don't necessarily think she thought this through before agreeing with it. I think that her label does not give a fucking shit about what follows her, and I think that we really need to be careful about who we're directing our anger to. Is it to the 18-year-old who's experiencing normal 18-year-old emotions and working through it in her music? Or is it to the record company CEOs that want to make a return on their investment, regardless of who gets hurt in the meantime? So that's my question. We really just need to, like, she's genuinely just a teenager, guys. So, like, it's not that serious. And again, I don't really think she might go #1, but again, she has a lot of competition this week. It was not a good week to have a debut album, especially because 21 Pilots, she knew 21 Pilots was coming, and I don't know why they decided to put her up against 21 Pilots. And because the reason why I made my predictions is because I think it's going to come down to fandom support over general population support, because there was just so much that came out. And if you're somebody who's just a regular pop fan, like, you know, maybe you listen to Lil Nas X, maybe you check out Olivia Rodrigo, but it's not really fun in summary or whatever, but 21 Pilots and Butter kind of is. And so, because there's so much to listen to, if you're just a regular pop music fan, maybe you don't pick something, and then it comes down to fandom. BTS has the biggest fandom in the world. 21 Pilots also has a really big fandom. I think they're going to come out on top with the #1 for albums. So, thank you for watching. Socials are in the description. I will see you Friday for a Billboard Music Awards review. A little late, but better late than never. And yeah, I will talk to you later. Goodbye.